Peace. Yo, it's Power Born of Law. Today's Supreme Mathematics is Knowledge at a Cipher. Going through the Allah Power Rule month. It's April 10th, 2026. You can say knowledge at a cipher, knowledge added to the cipher, knowledge add if you're real smooth with it. And today, I think about being grateful for having knowledge to add to a cipher. But most importantly, when I think about when you go to add knowledge to a cipher, you got to have knowledge of the cipher in itself before you even go to add something to it. Because you got to know, and that's dealing with assessing what's going on in that particular cipher, what dynamics are going on in that particular cipher before you go to try to add your knowledge to it. We do make the mistake because sometimes, we big head scientists like Yakub and our ego, and we come in with this God complex and we know it all. So we just automatically think, oh, you need this. Not paying attention to what the person actually needs, what they're saying through their ways and actions in their cipher. You're doing a knowledge today cipher. Cipher is a person, place, a thing. Knowledge means to look, listen, observe, and respect. All right, that's a couple of manifestations of those, not the only ones. Draw them up for yourself as always. But I'm grateful because I understand the science of justice. And justice, in our J is the 10th letter in our supreme alphabet. Justice is just I see equality. Justice is you receiving the knowledge on a particular cipher and how you act afterwards. Do you act accordingly so you can receive a reward? Or do you ignore the knowledge that you got on a particular cipher and you end up getting a penalty? And for me, as I go through a transition, we always going through different transitions, different cycles, as my brother M would say. I am grateful to be aware and be wise enough and aware and wise, so doing the knowledge and the wisdom to get the proper understanding of the ciphers that I be in, that I be going through, so in turn I don't get a penalty, i.e. get taken advantage of. I do get a reward. I move on my own terms. That's very crucial, y'all. That's part of being intuitive. That's part of a heightened awareness of situations and people that are involved in those situations. You got to look at their ways and actions up to that point. And that's knowledge. That's not like you thinking about it, whatever. That's the knowledge of it. Like you see, like if that person has supported you and always, looked out this and third, then that's the knowledge. That's the understanding you got from doing the knowledge to them. But if they've been snaking, you know what I'm saying? Sneaking and snaking, that's what they are. And when we look at today's degree in the 1 to 14, it talks about that snake. And when you see somebody, like I tell you example, real life example, I work in an environment that thankfully I am transitioning out of on my own terms. But some of the people I've worked around are snakes of the grafted type. And while this is not 1934 or 1933 where you could physically take their head, you got to be able to take their head. When it says take 4 devils, you got to be able to do that mentally first and then physically. Because taking that snake's head, taking those devils, or that's taking that snake's head, that devil's head, which could be symbolized as a snake, Could be just you removing yourself from a situation, i.e. me. It could be how you interact with those people. Limited conversation. Come in a lukewarm current. Not necessarily warm, not necessarily cold, but just enough to be professional and keep it moving. That's important, because a lot of times because we know somebody's been shady and somebody's done us wrong, especially say in the workplace, we'll let our emotions cloud our judgment and we show our hand. And what's a shame is that's you giving up your power, and they'll go try to take advantage of that as well. So we got to stay mindful of that as well. You know what I'm saying? And once again, so the lesson says, because the devil is 100% weak and wicked. Oh, pardon stuff. I didn't say the question. I'm talking about the knowledge as Cipher degree in your 1 to 14. Why does Muhammad and any Muslim murder the devil? What's the duty of each Muslim in regards to 4 devils? What reward does a Muslim receive by presenting 4 devils at one time? Answer: because the devil is 100% weak and wicked and will not keep and obey the laws of our Lord and Master. His ways and actions are like a snake of the grafted type, so Muhammad learned they could not reform them, so they had to be murdered, because he knew if he was allowed to live, he would only sting someone else. So each Muslim was required to bring in 4 devils, and by having and presenting 4 devils at one time, his reward was a button and wear on the lapel of his coat, also free transportation to the city of Mecca, the city of Brother Muhammad. Now, because he knew if he was allowed to live, he only sting someone else. Due to knowledge. Here's the knowledge you got to add on to the cipher, because also you add knowledge to the cipher, you could be warning others in a righteous way, not just striving to badmouth somebody, but you like, hey, just telling you, make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's with these people, with this person or particular people. And understanding those 4 devils, taking those 4 devils, 4, also I look at it as the square, 4 corners of a square. You got to square them off. You got to square off all unrighteousness to protect your cipher. And that's majorly crucial, you know what I mean? And that means you got to have your head on the swivel depending on the environment you're in. But really, you think about this. When we are here in the uncivilized world, you know what I'm saying, the world of the 10% and the 85%, you got to have your head on the swivel. I mean, really, the only time you really able to rest truly is when you in your own home, because you the master of that cipher, or at least you should be. But yeah, I'm grateful. I'm really grateful for having knowledge of self and to be able to have an awareness of the environments that I'm in and knowing and understanding how to deal with them. See, and I just said knowledge and cipher, awareness, environment, awareness of the environment. So, hey, that's what I got to share for today. Hopefully you find this helpful in your everyday life. If you ever have any questions, feel free to hit me up. You can email me, you could comment section, or you could email me. You can message me on the about part of my page, or you can email me at rpowerborn@gmail.com. Once again, that's rpowerborn@gmail.com. Peace. Happy Friday, you knuckleheads.